Thanks, Vinton, and good morning, everybody, and thanks for inviting me here this morning. I'll try to be brief because I think it's 3 minutes, is it? 3 minutes, okay. Well, just to introduce myself to you, I am the Green Party's current spokesperson on European affairs, and I've been interested in European affairs for many years now. I've represented the party on the Forum for Europe, where I became aware of the excellent work that's being done by the development NGOs in this country. I also was a member of the National Executive of COLOV for 2 years. So I became very aware of both the challenges that development NGOs face and some of the concerns and challenges that those supporting a development agenda face in relation both to the EU and its policy making, but also within this country. So I have also been very interested in trade, the EU's trade policy, and I'm very aware of the lack of policy coherence in many respects. And I think the whole debate on the Lisbon Treaty was interesting because you would have expected a lot of members of the development community in Ireland to have been supportive of the EU given its track record in terms of development cooperation and humanitarian assistance. However, I think there's growing concerns about the lack of coherence. Although the EU remains the largest donor of international aid, its policies on agriculture, its policies on trade, its emerging policies, particularly on security and defence, all are a cause of concern, I think, for the future. And so I think it was this lack of policy coherence that caused problems for people. So the first thing I will say is, if elected to the European Parliament, I promise to be an active and very vigilant presence in the Parliament in terms of ensuring that coherence and raising very loud objections where that coherence is not evident. The second thing I will do, I suppose, is just to let you know I'll be joining the European Green Party, which is it's the fourth largest, or was until recently the fourth largest political grouping in the European Parliament. And the European Green Party has a strong and proud track record in relation to supporting the EU's activities in relation to development cooperation, and also criticising its trade policy and pushing very hard for more climate justice in relation to the developing world. I promise to work within the framework of the Millennium Development Goals. There's 8 anti-poverty objectives set out, or actions set out within that, and I promise to keep the European Union and its institutions as on track in relation to trying to achieve those goals by 2015. I also promise in the early stages, if elected as an MEP, to use my powers in scrutinising the new incoming Commission, to question each of the commissioners about the degree to which their approach to their portfolio or their directors will actually be compatible with the development, cooperation and humanitarian assistance objectives of the European Union. Climate change is a huge issue. Copenhagen, the final agreement, hopefully on a global climate agreement or treaty, will be signed in Copenhagen in December. I promise to be a very vocal voice, along with the rest of the European Greens, in pushing the European Union to sign up to 30% reduction in its emissions at the very least. I also commit to looking, I think what's happening at the moment is we're looking at the international financial architecture, and there will be serious reform in that architecture. I think we take advantage of this opportunity now, and certainly I will be adding my voice to those who are calling for more creative ways of financing development cooperation objectives internationally through a reform of the international financial system. Some of the suggestions that have been made are, in hoping we will develop a global carbon market, a global carbon trading system, that some percentage of the permits that are issued under that would go automatically to developing countries to fund adaptation and mitigation measures for them. And I commit here to push the European Union to meet its commitments to providing adaptation and mitigation funding as part of the Copenhagen deal for developing countries, but also to look at and very strongly to support a new international accounting system, so that multinational corporations who have been managing to exploit some of the loopholes in the international financial system, that those will be closed, so that there will be a system where multinational corporations will have to account for the profits and the taxes and the sort of transfer pricing practices that they have been engaging in. And finally, I promise to promote a much wider model of human rights the EU has begun to support, which includes not just civil and political rights, but also social and economic. I think there's a lot more work that needs to be done on that. I'll work closely in this country with the development organisations, but also at a European level with Concord, with Amnesty, and with all of those who are involved in the work of trying to improve the conditions for people in the developing world. Thanks very much.